families. This is Kylie Larsen with 4011 Learning, and I am a certified reading teacher. I also have more than 20 years experience teaching kids of all ages in Cleveland County schools here in North Carolina. I recently decided to take some time and focus on my health and focus on my family. And so, in order to supplement our income, I am starting my own tutoring business. When I was a Title I reading interventionist, one of the things I enjoyed the most about my job was connecting with families, getting them access to resources, making sure they had exposure to information that would help them to be able to help their students at home. So that's sort of what has led me here today. I always tell folks I feel most alive when I'm either teaching someone or I am learning something new. So today I wanted to share with families what I would do as a reading teacher if a concern was brought to me about a student's ability to comprehend text. And so the first thing I would do is not to go grab a graphic organizer or teach them an annotation strategy. The first thing I would do is to assess them to see if they're able to read grade level text fluently. Reading fluency is fundamental to comprehension. Experts call it the bridge between decoding words and constructing meaning from text. So, what is fluency exactly? And how do you know if your student is struggling with reading fluency? So, in simple terms, fluency is the ability to read words accurately, automatically, and with appropriate pace and expression. Okay, so imagine a child who has to use most of their brain power just to decode the words on the page. Or maybe they race through the text and they ignore punctuation and they're not thinking about what they're reading. Or perhaps it is a student that reads one word at a time like a robot. When any of these things happens, there's very little mental energy or capacity left for the student to think about ideas, make connections, or understand the story as a whole. So, one quick thing for today is I want to explain how you, as a parent or guardian, family member, can tell if your student is able to read on grade level fluently. And so, what you're going to do is a quick 60-second fluency check. This is exactly what most teachers do to monitor fluency at school. So, you're going to find a grade level passage or a grade level book, and you are going to time your student reading that for 60 seconds. You want to be able to, at the end, to calculate the words correct that they were able to read per minute. So that means you have to keep up with how many words they miss while they're reading, and then subtract that from the total number of words that they read during that minute. When a student has trouble and they get stuck on a word, say for like 3 or 4 seconds, you can go ahead and read that word for them and let them continue going. So when you finish, you should also take some notes about how they were reading. What was their expression like? What did their voice sound like? Was it choppy? Was it robotic? Did they miss a lot of words? Did they self-correct a lot while they were reading? And self-correct just means they missed the word the first time, but then they were able to say, "Oh, that's not right," and they go back and they read the word correctly after that. Okay, so you get your words correct per minute, and then you can Google the benchmarks for grade levels. In fact, I will try to link a document below this video that has benchmarks for grades 1 through 8. And you look at the benchmark, it'll have a range. Say, for instance, fourth grade might be 90 to 140. So that's a pretty big range. But you're going to be able to tell if your student is um, at grade level or above. You're going to know if they are slightly below grade level. You're going to know if they are well below grade level. And you're even going to be able to tell, are they at the lower end, middle end, or upper end of that range if they are within the range. And then that's going to give you a lot of direction on what to do next. So, my advice is if your child is at grade level or above with reading fluency, then yes, you need to be looking into comprehension strategies. And the first place I would start is just reading with your child and having conversations about what they're reading, teaching them how to ask themselves questions to make sure that they're understanding the text. But you can always reach out to your child's teacher or do a Google search on comprehension strategies and start there. But if your child is below grade level with reading fluency, then you're going to need to work there also. I'm not saying don't work on comprehension strategies, but really, if you don't build their fluency, the comprehension is not going to get there. So, if they're just slightly below, there are a lot of things you can do at home that build fluency. And I actually am going to create another video that goes over lots of strategies you can use at home for reading fluency. That's actually one of my favorite things to work on. Um, if your student is well below grade level with reading fluency, then this is when I would definitely touch base with your child's teacher or seek out the help of a reading specialist. Oftentimes, schools will have reading interventionist or reading specialist that part of their job description is to help families with resources. And so you really need a targeted plan for your student if they fall well below average with reading fluency. You don't want to just like bang your head up against the wall trying to work on comprehension when what is missing is the foundation. Um, you have to go back and work on that fluency. Like I said, you can still work on comprehension, but you're going to have to build fluency. In fact, some students even have to back up and work on their decoding skills, their phonics skills. So it's really important. It's fluency is one of the most important indicators of a child's ability to comprehend text. I hope that you found this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, hit that like button, and I hope to see you soon with some strategies on working on fluency at home. Bye.